Chapter 50. Hotaru takes another breather, sitting on an unstable stool, wiping her sweaty face. She has removed her thick layered armor and replaced it with a light tunic and trousers, common apparel she used to wear during the summers in Aliahan. Even after several minutes, the intense heat from the forge still radiates throughout the enclosed room. The forge is more of a mess than the second floor of Takeshi's home. Along with weapons and armor scattered around the floor, there are also various smithing tools with them, most of which are badly damaged or in poor condition, like hammers with cracked handles or blades with chipped edges. Hotaru looks over to Takeshi with concern for his living habits. While she is exhausted due to the heat, Takeshi remains full of life as he looks over to the new blade he crafted, still adorning the cloak blocking his face. It has been a day since the others left, with Takeshi working non-stop, to a surprising success. The blade is a silvery white from the orichalcum, and the comfortable bronze hilt has accents of gold. In between is a flat golden guard, granting the sword a regal design, fitting for its name. The remainder of the material was used for the shield that lays atop the table in front of her. While white to begin with, Takeshi finished his work by painting the shield blue, with a unique symbol which he claims was worn by Ortega himself. Even after all that, he wasn't finished. He took time forging Aziza's spare daggers he claims to last far better compared to the shoddy material of weapons used by the people of this land. He also tinkered Isamu's claws, sharpening its edges with a whetstone. How he works without rest is like a machine. Clear why they kept him around to aid Ortega's army. Hotaru has yet to gain the stamina to work for more than a couple of hours. In her head, she ponders if without her blood, if she would have even been a mere recruit. She peeks over at him once more, watching as he carefully scans the blade, the Sword of Kings. His energy, however, is infinite. She can easily see the loss of light through his soul-drained eyes, all which must be pushing him now for an old mission that must be finished. You must have taken a long time before you became recognized as a legendary smith, Hotaru said. I would hardly refer to myself as that, Takeshi said, keeping his eyes on the blade. I have more experience using weapons than making them. Like a gun? She asked, looking onto the table to see his flintlock pistol besides the shield. Not quite. It was a gift, in case I went without a sword. He takes a quick glance around his forge. Most of what you see now would shatter at a thought. She said it would make me stand out from a nameless soldier, though she was always threatening to kill our leader if he dared try anything funny. Hotaru rolls her eyes with a sigh. Sounds a lot like how we first met Maria. That's her. You're serious? She questioned. The gun belonged to Maria? He nodded. She was a reliable asset to Ortega's army, and I don't think she would have given us a second thought without a bit of convincing from Pimiko. Those two first met and battled it out at Ortega, with Pimiko managing to squeeze out a victory. It was quite the spectacle. Since then, she made a truce to serve under her as a sign of respect, though she was loyal to Ortega's navy. Maybe when I get the chance I should see her. How is she, anyway? She sails the sea with her crew as pirates. From what I was told, once the army was defeated, she lost her position and ship. She forgone all hope, having us aid her to recover a ship that her country took back, seeking to sail the seas free until doom arrived. He releases a quiet breath, the same exhausted breath as hearing of Pimiko. The Vento Eterna. How unfortunate. She always spoke of her ship and crew as an extension of herself. I couldn't even imagine the loss she must have felt. Luckily, that's not how the story ends. I helped her take back her ship, though breaking into a royal ship warehouse still weighs heavy on my mind. She later brought me to Lanson to find the Thunderbolt sword. That's when you got your electric powers as Ortega did? She nods. What was that like? She groans. Painful. As you and Grandma say, my father went through the same thing. Honestly, I can't see him struggling like I do. Every time I use it, I end up striking the ground around my enemies, causing chaos to my friends. It hurts to hold it too, which doesn't help my accuracy. Takeshi laughs. Your father would say the same thing. He was practically running around as a human lightning rod from how much he struck himself, on top of smelling like his own cooking. In fact, he was given that bulky helmet you carry as a form of protection. Nevertheless, it took him years to master his magic, so don't beat yourself up. She looks at the helmet which sits on a lone chair in the corner of the room near the entrance with her armor underneath. So that's why it's as big as it is. Hotaru thought. It is hard to picture my father as someone who is clumsy. He always wore a face of knowing, like he had all the answers to the world. But if Grandma was with him like me, then he must have been the same way. I wonder what he would have thought of me. Would he be proud of how far I have come, or scolded me for the foolish mistakes I have made? Were you close to my father? She asked. We weren't friends or anything. We only ever spoke when in the shop. I mostly knew him from the sidelines, learning of him from afar. He had plenty of friends, such as yourself, that he fell back on. He cared for them to the point he would risk just about anything to keep them safe, even his own life. You were friends with Grandma, right? That's a word you could use to describe our relationship. Personally, I prefer family. She was a great ruler who cared deeply for her people much like her son, a bit hard-headed like him too. Once she had a mission she needed to fulfill, it was to be done. Out of all of us, she has sacrificed the most. Not only losing her son and husband, but the pain in her eyes when she took the purple orb signified the last of her spirit. She was from that point a walking, breathing corpse. What she would have to do could never be forgiven. She knew that, and accepted it. He lifts from his rusty stool, sword in hand. He takes it to the covered table of tools, shoving them off haphazardly, gently places it beside the shield. Pimiko must have told you about having no doubts or hesitations, to be ready for anything. Once you take up these arms and reach Zoma, you will be struck with the same questions as Ortega did. What I ask is this, Hotaru. Can you finish your journey, complete your path without regret or second thought? She looks up towards his covered face. His eyes glint behind the darkness. I thought I knew the answer to that question when I first set out from Aliahan. We all did, but things have changed. No longer I strive forth as a hero for the duty of my blood, but instead for friends and family that live in the two worlds. I fight, for I wish them joyous lives free from tyranny, just as my father did. A smile reveals itself. He had the same resolve as you. However, things have changed. I believe you shall succeed where he failed. Take the sword, Hotaru. He steps away as she reaches over to the fine hilt. She lifts it with ease, examining the reflective material. The sword is light and flows through the air like wind with every test swing. The edge is razor sharp, capable of cutting through the finest of steel. Strangely, at the hilt is a static she has grown familiar with. The Sword of Kings is no ordinary blade. You can unleash your thunder magic and store its power into the sword. Once enough power is charged, you can unleash the most powerful spell known throughout the land, Gigagash. With it, nothing will stand in your path, though you mustn't grow reliant on it. You still have to master the spell and consider the magic in your blood. We will test out its capabilities in due time. With it, you won't have to worry about hurting yourself anymore. Two familiar voices sound off in the distance. They are joyous and oblivious to the eerie silence around them, but she doesn't worry. Seems like they were able to get along, she told herself, thankful things were starting to look up. Hope was coming back. So after this is all done, you plan on spreading tales of our adventure? I mean, that's neat and all, but how are you supposed to write it, let alone see it? Better to just tell it from memory, holding an empty book. I will likely have someone help me write it, but I haven't thought much about it. All I know is that these people deserve to know the truth. I will say, though, being known as one of the heroes sounds like quite a big deal. Maybe I can help you out, Fedir. You know, tell the good folks my side of the story. I'm trying to tell the truth, remember? I can only imagine some of the fables you would mention. The door to the house bursts open, and they spin to the entrance of the forge. The two voices continue to speak among each other with high spirits. A smile spreads across Hotaru's face. She coughs loudly to draw their attention, hiding her peeking smile. You two know we're working here. Isamu and Fedir carefully step in, avoiding the traps of tools on the floor, yet bumping into the nearby chair, knocking the helmet that pinned Hotaru's armor to the floor. Her scowl pierces into Isamu. Sorry about that, Isamu said. We were just catching up. Catching up about what? Nothing important. Just places we want to travel. You know Fedir. He just has to visit the Cathedral of Lanson. Don't even think about making this about me, Fedir rebutted. As I recall, you've been spouting nonsense about seeing Damdara. Why Damdara? Hotaru asked. He chuckles, turning his face away from her. No reason. I heard the town was a beautiful sight. She glares at him. From Fedir? Never mind that, he said, looking down at Hotaru's hands. So that is the Sword of Kings. She raises it up. Isamu's eyes light up with the blade. Just finished it. I can sense an electrical current coming from it, Fedir added. It has a unique power compared to other swords. Takeshi said it would be enough to stop Zoma. Finally, Isamu shouted. Once Aziza gets back, we can put an end to this. It felt like only moments ago those two were against each other. I don't know what transpired at that tower, but I'm happy for what has happened. All we need is Aziza now. Her thoughts suddenly silence. Something big closes in from the distance. A bellowing roar shakes the building. Melodic and increasing tremors ring the steel and iron equipment on the ground. The heat around her body vanishes as her heart sinks to her stomach. The familiar, horrifying sounds draw close. Takeshi moves with haste to the front door. Though his face isn't seen, it's easy to tell his feelings as his hands tremble. I thought we had more time, he mumbled, spinning back towards them. Zoma knows we're here. The Franticor is coming. You said he wouldn't show up until all the pieces were together, Isamu argued. He must have learned from our last attempt. Now he won't let us have the chance. Aziza is out there with that beast. We sent her to her death. He stomps to the door, but Takeshi blocks him. Calm down, kid. You will only get yourself killed. We have to retreat to Cantiln. Not while Aziza is out there. Hotaru butts in. We have the Sword of Kings. Can't we slay the Franticor? It's too dangerous. That wasn't my question, Takeshi. She holds out the blade, revealing its blinding shine. This blade has the power to slay the Franticor. He is reluctant with his answer. Yes, but it won't be easy. This will be unlike any fight before. The Franticor is a demon born in the depths of hell. Caught once in its wrath and you're dead. She takes a deep breath. You must hold no doubts, no hesitation. Those were her words. No regrets or second thoughts. Those were yours. Let me prove to you, to Grandma, the strength and courage behind my new resolve. Using my own words against me is a low tactic. But you're right. I will go to Cantiln to gather reinforcements. I have faith in you kids that success is within your grasp. Go forth then. Take the claw and daggers. Bring an end to Zoma. For all of us. He reaches down and hands Hotaru her armor from the chair. Thank you, Takeshi, for your help. Now it's our turn to return the favor. Quickly she equips her armor, hopefully for the last time. With haste, she reaches over to grab the shield off the table. Heavier than the sword, but manageable to wield. She glances over at Isamu to see his eyes fired up, ready for battle. Fedir is confident in his stance, to follow Hotaru towards the imposing danger. Isamu puts his reinforced claw in hand, the daggers around his waist, his smirk confident. The three of them, proud with unrelenting spirit and vigor, march out the door towards the enclosing tremors. Once they are gone and the Franticore's tremors grow, Takeshi grabs what is necessary for the trip to Cantilne. Years it has been since he was behind its walls, but he cannot reminisce. Now was his moment for redemption. He reaches down to Hotaru's helmet she left behind, slowly bringing it to his face. How long has it been since I have seen this piece? Looks like time has run out once more. Again I will fight, but this time for my family.